On today's video, the latest developers' feedback, their thoughts on the equipment systems got people shaken up. It's got a few of you asking me tons of questions, wanting to know my opinion about the refinement system and a bunch of other things they mentioned. So let's go over this developer's feedback. And I have a lot of positives to say, but also some negatives because, man, things are becoming a little bit weird. Sit back, don't forget to slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Apologies for the late posts. I hope you guys are still watching the videos. I hope you guys are still smashing the likes, subscribing down below, sharing these videos out. We got to get back on the horse, and I need your help to get the YouTube algorithm to remember that I exist. Smash those likes, comment below, all that good stuff. But let's get started with the developers' feedback because it was all about equipment. I'm just going to read through it first, and then I'll give you guys my raw opinions, both positive and negatives, about the whole thing because this mail is actually much more important than a lot of people gave it credit. And it's not just because of refinement. Let's talk about this. Hey, everyone. We collected a lot of useful feedback from governors on the new equipment system since it went live, which has helped point us towards some major improvements as we've paired these recommendations with data, insights, and some further testing and discussion. Here, we would like to share with everyone a bit of the future directions for some specific details for equipment systems in the developers' feedback. First of all, a lot of governors are focusing particularly on the issue around the special talent forging equipment. The forging probabilities for special talents can be viewed in-game, and many governors have noticed a mechanism where the one item of equipment must be produced to special talent in 5 forgings. So nowadays in Rise of Kingdoms, if you forge the same thing 5 times, you're guaranteed to get the special talent on the 5th time. The probabilities go up the more times you forge the same item, and that's essentially how you get special talents nowadays. But we feel the system isn't clear enough for many governors and so we would like to introduce a new refinement system. Final term has yet to be determined in the next optimization. For the record, in the next optimization could also mean in the next equipment optimization, which doesn't necessarily mean the next update. Keep that in mind. A lot of people are like, this is going to be on the next update. It's coming out right now. It might have already come out, by the way. The next optimization might have been the server reset that happened a few days ago. But next optimization does not mean next patch notes. Next server reset does not mean anything. It can be months from now. Just an FYI. This system allows governors to refine special talents into their equipment without repeated forging. Of course, the original forging mechanism can still produce special talents, but the probability will no longer increase with the repeated attempts. We're also planning to inherit previous forge attempts into the new refinement system to allow governors to keep forging with peace of mind. It should be noted that the cost of probabilities, etc. of refinement will remain exactly the same under the new forging system. We are hoping that these changes will provide governors with a more direct sense of progress of special talent acquisition. Secondly, we've made some major adjustments in the way you receive and the quantities of equipment-related blueprints and materials, providing greater access to preferred equipment for many governors. This includes major updates to the equipment chests and complete overhaul of their content. Thank you. About damn time. Current prize pool content is also under review, but we can reveal that we're considering removing blueprint fragments from equipment chests and adding epic and legendary blueprints. So removing blueprint fragments, they mean probably the blues and purples, and just add epics and blues and greens, and then add epics and legendaries finally. We're also adding resource items, speed-ups, and blueprints for epic sets. This update will not change the number of gems needed to purchase equipment chest keys. However, now we know we ain't opening a single chest key until they make this update, and then we can hope and pray we can get some more legendaries and epics. So all of our equipment chests and all of our equipment keys are now officially under lock until this change happens, whether it's in a week or in a month or in a year. It is what it is. In addition to equipment chests, we're also making some improvements to the VIP shop, courier station, Lucerne Scroll events, and bundles and other equipment-related content. The overall direction is bringing more governors easier and faster access to blueprints and materials they deserve. Also, we are planning to significantly reduce the production time for materials, about them time, and finally decided to limit the use of Season of Conquest equipment outside the season to try to make the equipment as a whole more fair. All of these changes I've mentioned above is still under consideration, and if all goes well, it'll be rolled out over the next few months in different updates. See what I'm saying? We'll make sure to notify everybody of specific announcements when official confirmation is happening. Okay, so let's go dissect this big mail because it's important to understand what's going on here. First and foremost, I want to start with the end because it's the most important part to set the tone for the rest of this video and the rest of this conversation. All of the changes that I've mentioned are still under consideration. Okay? If all goes well, over the next few months in different updates. Okay? So, we have been set a clear expectation. Number one, don't expect anything. This is literally under consideration. This is not under development nor under process of becoming a thing. It's under consideration. So that sets an expectation right there. If all goes well, it means that after it gets considered and it gets approved and there is time to develop it, then it will get rolled out eventually over the next few months. Lord knows when, okay? So keep in mind that, as I said, my equipment keys are going into the safety deposit. I guess we're not going to open those for the next few months, and we're going to have thousands when the time comes to potentially get blueprints. But for now, complete shutdown on that. Everything we're going to talk about is 100% theoretical. It's 100% possibilities of things that can happen. It's all speculation at best. There is no leaks. There's no foundation. There is nothing. There's this mail, which, for all we know, could have been written by someone who said, for the record, this is all bullshit at the end, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to the top and go dissect things one by one. We feel that the system isn't clear enough for many governors and we would like to introduce a new refinement system. Final term may yet to be determined in the next optimization. This system will allow governors to refine special talents into their equipment without repetitive forging. Of course, the original forging mechanism can still produce special talents, but probability will no longer increase with repeated attempts. We are also planning to inherit previous forge attempts into the refined system to allow governors to keep forging with the peace of mind. So a lot of you said, oh, this is going to get much harder, much more expensive and all that. And for a moment, I agreed with you. But then when I read this, I was like, wait a second. This is a lie. It's not going to be that more expensive at all. What is this? They feel that the system is not clear enough. Therefore, they need to create a way in which the current system becomes clearer. And they've said this very, very clearly in this paragraph. What they're trying to do is they're trying to optimize the way you get special talents onto your equipment without repetitive forging. So this is the problem, okay? And this is the current situation with the existing system, okay? So they created a new system whose job is to make this clearer. And they specifically say that original forging mechanics can still produce special talents, which means you might proc and that's that. But the probability will no longer increase in repeated attempts. What this means is that now if you reforge equipment, it will not give you you will not have to reforge 5 times. But what it does mean is you're going to need to refine to get the special talent. However, they're saying we're planning to inherit previous forge attempts into the new refinement system. What does that mean? It means that they are going to create a scenario in which the same way you used to get previously equipment special talented by reforging again and again will be the same exact system, except it'll be called refinement. And instead of you remaking the blueprint, it'll essentially tell you, here you go. If you attempted 1 time, then that item will have 1 time on it. And then you'll know that from here on out, 4 more times, you're 100% guaranteed a special talent. All that this is they created a system that will be very clear for you where you are in the process of refining special talent into your equipment by having the same exact system as previously and having the same exact system as previously work, but now you just do it through the refinement system and not by reforging. So all they did here is they didn't make anything cheaper or more expensive or less accessible or more accessible or free to play if players died off. Like all of you went tilt mode, right? It's just they moved it so that instead of having to reforge again and again and not knowing how many attempts you have on an item already, you can now have the item, refine, you'll lose all the materials trying to refine. It's the same exact thing as recrafting, except that you don't need a blueprint again. You're just going to refine the equipment and hope and pray you get it. Now, that is the big thing about this whole scenario. As a free-to-play player or as a low spender, you might have spent forever to get your first legendary piece of equipment. But guess what? It's not special talent. And you've been playing this game long enough so that your epics are all 2 thumbs up special talented. Now you're going for legendaries. And yes, I know free-to-play players like that have all the epic equipment they need, and now they're working on legendaries. Guess what? They're now not going to need 5 legendary blueprints to 100% guarantee their special talent. If anything, my understanding from this is hopefully Lilith are going to make it so that the one item can get refined over and over without needing the blueprints again and again. That's my assumption and hope. That's best case scenario, where now you refine the item you currently have by just putting in more materials until you get it special talented. And for the record, the costs, probabilities, and everything of refinement remain exactly the same under the same forging system. So it's pretty much the same exact thing. They just took out the repetitiveness of having to remake the equipment and not knowing how many attempts you've tried and failed. And now you will have like a UI for refinement. Hopefully they'll also be nice to us and we don't need 30 blueprints to get that refinement going. Maybe they'll make it so that you only need 10 blueprints or no blueprints at all to refine for special talent. So there's a lot of room for good things. Now, the problem here is if they make the refinement costs more expensive and now it's going to cost you more to refine instead of recrafting. However, the flip side of that is that if they make it more expensive in materials but no blueprints, then now you have a better chance. So the bottom line, my opinion of this whole thing is that it's too broadly sentenced, and this whole thing explaining refinement is extremely well written. It is extremely well written, which is something Lilith don't usually do, because it's extremely vague, but it gives enough. It drops a little bit of seed of hope and seed of possibilities for people to think of what could come and get excited about the future. This is like leaks that I used to do. But this is broad enough so that we're not committing to anything, but at the same time, precise enough and clear enough so that you know what could come in what department and exactly what the issue is, what the final goal is, what the current issue is. Okay? What the current issue is and the solution. But there is nothing in here that says anything about the game. And so keep that in mind. I want to scroll down a little bit further to talk about the other things in here. First and foremost, major adjustment in the way in which you receive quantities of related equipment, blueprints, and materials, providing greater access to preferred equipment for many governors. Thank you. Equipment is going to be a massive part of this game, and the way I see it is long-term, Lilith are going to make equipment much more accessible than commanders, and so the equipment is going to be what's going to be your strong suit, while the commanders are going to be the weaker ones. Essentially, the goal would be for Lilith to have the equipment system be very free-to-play, low-spender friendly, and have then that drag them into having great equipment, but no commanders to use that equipment on. And so I think that what Lilith are doing is they're starting to very much devalue equipment. And so I have full stopped spending on equipment, unless they really need a piece of equipment right now. I full stopped getting materials from bundles and all that. Unless it's the Vanquisher bundle, which is amazing. Other than that, I'm not buying any material bundles anymore, any blueprint bundles anymore. None of that, because they're devaluing the life out of material, which is a good thing for us and a bad thing if you're spending for it, right? The current prize pool is also still under review. They're considering removing blueprint fragments from equipment chests and adding epics and legendary blueprints, which would be truly, truly amazing. Hopefully they add set blueprints too, which we really do need. We'll be also adding resource items, speed-ups, and blueprints to the epic sets, which is, I guess, okay. In addition to equipment chests, we're also making changes to the VIP shop, courier station, Lucerne scroll, more materials, more equipment, more cheaper. Overall, I really like this. I think that The final piece, the final nail on the coffin was the fact that they finally made it so that the equipment from Season of Conquest doesn't work in previous seasons. That should have been a thing already, but it's okay. Better late than never. Significantly reducing the production of materials is also fantastic. That means more equipment being forged, more refinement possibilities. Overall, this is exactly the direction which Lilith have been going in, which is they're going to have to find a way to make some things cheaper and more grindable in order for people to get hooked again. Back in the day, it was about the game didn't necessarily require that much of a hook because none of us had there wasn't that much experience in the game, and there wasn't that many people who are quitting the game because they've already spent 2 years on it. And so it was more on a hype than anything else. Now the game is established and it needs to be able to constantly entice new customers in. And the way it does that is by slowly and steadily making things cheaper, making things a bit more accessible, making it so that it's easier to get that quick dopamine out of the game and wanting to stay in it forever. And yeah, I like this. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Appreciate what I'm going to do. Drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe down below. Drop the comment down below. Share this video. Help the algorithm find us in some shape or form. But we definitely need to start posting much earlier than this. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.